I wanted to come back and let you know what happened to my thumb because of my other live video. I was holding it up and it's really, really painful actually. So what happened to me and why did I have to go to the emergency room tonight? So I was sitting down and I decided to cut some fruit tonight. I've been wanting to cut this stuff called gum. It's called Dan Gum. And where? What's wrong? Ah, I see. Sorry, guys. I got a little girl to help take care of on this live stream. You gotta pull this forward, okay? Good job. Sorry, she going to the potty and she needed some help. You gotta put the book down to be able to take off your pants. You gotta put the book down. Put it down so you can get your pants off, weirdo. Okay, thank you. Come on, you gotta take the pants off. Take them off. What are you doing just standing there? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Let's put this down. Oh no, don't let the people see you. Okay. Let's move it here. Y'all just look up. Y'all just look up for a second. My poor baby. My poor baby can't do this. Can't do that right now herself. Okay. So, as I was saying, I was trying to cut some fruit. And what happened was, I said, okay, let me go ahead and cut this fruit. Y'all, look at what I was using to cut some fruit. Okay? Wha-bam. This is probably not the smartest idea, but I went to the dollar store today, right? I went to the dollar store to get a knife for cutting fruit. And I totally forgot. Because I was like, I was like, dang, I know I only got that big old knife at home. I don't really want to use that. Let me go and get that. So I went to Daiso today. I ended up getting stuff for like work, and I ended up getting stuff for, what else did I get? I got stuff for work, and I got some other kitchen stuff that I needed, but I didn't get the fruit knife. And like, I've been wanting to cut this fruit for the whole week because I got it last weekend, and it's so good. It's like stuff they serve at my job, so I was like, oh, I really want to eat this. And I got the peeler, the skin peeler as well. And well, so before I started cutting the fruit, I actually ate a ton of sugar. And I'm not able to have a lot of sugar. Like, I don't eat a lot of sugar anymore. One, because I just can't. I physically should not be having sugar. Like, it just does something to me. And then I get a sugar crash really badly. I get a major headache, which I have right now. And it's just not good. And so I'm cutting the fruit. I'm sitting on the floor cutting the fruit, but I'm watching a show. I was watching a show first while I was doing it, and then I started cutting fruit, and I was watching the Philip DeFranco on what he was saying about the girl named Jazzy, I think, at that college, and the girl who like put the nasty stuff in her lotion and things like that at the university. Lily, pull it! Why are you wasting all mommy's tissue? Rip it! Stop now. OMG, child. This girl is pulling all the tissue off the roll. Like, I don't even want to show y'all because it's ridiculous. It's a huge pile of tissue. Ah, you can't put it all in there. Do not put it all. No, rip it. Don't pull it back out. Don't pull it back out of the toilet. Rip it. Pull it. Ani. Lele, Hajima. Yes, thank you, Tadason. That's a good job, baby. Good job. Good job. You did really good job. Okay, so, I'm so sorry, guys, but, that was a real yawn. Told you, sugar crash. So, anyways, I'm doing that, and I just, like, felt my body just, like, going down, and, like, Lily was doing something. I look over at her, because I was really wanting to get in bed, and I was like, oh, let me just cut I was like, how many fruits do I have left? I said, oh, I have one left. Let me just go ahead and cut it, even though I want to get in bed right now. So, like a dork, I went ahead and started peeling it, all that, and I'm, like, slowly, like, feeling like I need to get in bed, and I was like, dang, I should probably stop. But I was like, no, it's the last one, so let me go. So that was just dumb on my part. Just so silly of me to do. And sure enough, like it was the second cut I was making into the thing. I just straight up cut my finger. Like, it was like I wasn't even aiming for the food. Like, if y'all would have seen it, oh my gosh, you would have been like, what was she thinking? Because even in my head, like, as soon as it happened, I was like, I just took my skin off. I just cut my finger. Oh my gosh. And like, I pressed it down into my pants, and I was like, oh Lord, please, please, please don't let my thumb like be in half. Please don't let me have half a thumb right now, because I knew I cut deep. I knew it. I am so blessed that I did not cut a nerve. I cut a big chunk though. Like, I would have taken a picture of it, but my phone battery was about to die while I was at the hospital when we went. So after I sliced my finger, I looked at it, I saw that the skin was coming up, and I said, no, it was big chunk. So I said, no, I have to get to the hospital. But it was already 7, and like, a lot of these little hospitals, they close at like 6:30. And I'm like, what in the world? Why are you closing so early? Like, most people don't even go for work till 8. So all those people, like, they can't even go to the doctor unless they're missing work, or they just go to like a big clinic and pay a lot of money, just to be seen for something little. And that's kind of frustrating for me. But it's okay. I'm just happy that something was open. So I literally like threw everything down on the ground. I put on my sandals. I told Lily, I said, oh my gosh, Lily, Mommy has to go to the hospital now. Mommy cut Mommyself. Mommy has lots of blood. Lily, we have to go. She hopped out of the bed so fast. I'm so proud of my baby, because she really did. She hopped off the bed really, really quickly, and she was like, okay. And I was like, we need our shoes. We got to put on our shoes. She saw me grab my sandals, put them on. She put on hers, and then I only put on half of my jacket. Like, I just was holding my hand. I only put on half of my jacket. I tried to do a taxi because I was going to go to Loteria, which is a burger place by us, and I know that Lily's doctor's up there. But then I thought about it. Like, I called the taxi already, but they didn't pick up on Kakao Taxi. And Fridays are really busy in my area, so it makes sense that they weren't like there. But yeah, so I couldn't get a taxi. So then I run into the church building, because I felt like I was going to pass out. Like, I literally felt like I would drop soon. So I went into the church building, and I'm like, annyeonghaseyo, because there's a lady there who drove us to a mall here before. So I was like, oh, if I can find her, maybe she'll drive me to the hospital, and she can help me faster. Nobody was in there. It was so weird, because they had the lights on in the main chapel. Her car was there, but she was nowhere to be found. So I was like, okay, whatever. So we came back out the building. I said, I can't get the taxi. So I ran to the GS25, which is the convenience store that I always go to. And luckily the girl I know was there, whom I always talk to, and she always plays with Lily. She was there, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I said, Byungwon Peter, hey yo. I said, Karo 손을 잘랐어요, which means I cut my finger. And she was like, what? And she thought I meant Lily, and I was like, no, me, and I'm holding it, and I turned the tissue, because I put a wet wipe, and then I wrapped it in a paper towel, like a long piece of paper towel, and I guess I should say several pieces of paper towel, and I wrapped it up. And I went there. And so while we're in there, she's like, but I think all the hospitals are closed. So there was a guy there who spoke a little bit of English, and he was like, what? He was like, what happened? I was like, I was cutting fruit, and I cut my thumb. And he was like, oh my gosh, is it bad? I said, yeah, it's really bad. The skin is off. And he was like, oh, should we call 119, which is the 911 here, so it's their emergency number? I said, no, I don't think it's that bad, but I have to go to the hospital, but I don't need to go by emergency car, it's not that kind of emergency. And he was like, okay. So they said hospital name, but I didn't really understand what name they said. I know she said it was I thought she said Soe Byungwon, but it was actually Songji Byungwon. So they took me over to they called the taxi for me, and the guy walked me to the taxi, and the taxi guy already had where I'm going, so I didn't even have to say anything to him. We just went to Songji Byungwon, and yeah, so we headed there. It took about 10 minutes to get there. Maybe not 10 minutes, but it seemed like a very long time, and maybe that's because you know, I said I felt like I was going to pass out. Everything kind of felt like it was going in slow motion for me. And we get there, you know, I wasn't sure which doors to go in. I actually walked in the side door of the hospital, and I walked in. I can at least read the sign, so I was like, okay, that's outpatient on the right. This is emergency on this side. Emergency is in English, though. But there was an entrance door, and I was like, huh, should I go in this door? So I go in, and the lady was, an older lady was there with, I guess, her son, maybe, and she was like, oh, I was like, 혹시 여기 맞아요? And she was like, oh yeah. And then she just told me to go around the corner. And so I went around the corner, and like, I was just like, Kyle Son. Okay, my Korean wasn't that bad. I actually just said the same thing. Like, I cut my my hand with a knife. It was like really hurts, and so they had first they had me sit just like on a waiting chair, and then the guy or the lady came and told me to take off the wrapping I had. So she actually took it off for me. Like, I was holding it still, and I didn't want to, like, I couldn't really move my thumb at that time, and my hand was shaking so badly. So I just went ahead and I put it down. I put, well, I mean, I didn't put it down. She took it off and threw it away in their little, you know, medical waste bin. And then they had me sit at the desk where the guy was. I thought that guy was just somebody working there. But he actually ended up being the guy who helped me later. So I sit there, and the other nurse is just playing with Lily, and it's so cute. But so he freaking squeezes. First, he's like, he's looking at it, and then he like squeezes it, and I was like, ah, and then he lifts up the skin, you know, well, he cleaned it first, and then he lifted up the skin and cleaned underneath there as well, because he was trying to see how deep the cut was. And oh, it was bad. I looked, I almost took a picture, like I wanted to take a picture, but at the same time, it was so bad. Like, it was so bad. Like, I don't think anybody needs to see that. Like, it was so bad. It's so deep. Like, it's horrific. And there was so much blood. Like, I probably have not bled like that. I can't remember the last time I've seen that much blood come out of my body. Well, women. But, you know what I mean. But, yeah, oh my gosh, it's like the pain is coming back in right now. And I can't even get my prescriptions right now because all the pharmacies are closed. So that stinks. But I have to go back to the hospital tomorrow, so I will get my pills and things. But so they took me over and had me lie down on the, you know, the hospital bed. And they had a board that went underneath my back, and I had to put my hand out, like, on this side like this, and my thumb was there, and they put gauze there, so I was holding the gauze and, you know, laying there on the thing, and I couldn't take any pictures. Like, I really wanted to take more pictures. Like, I got a picture of my thumb. I will post it on my Facebook page. You can go there and see. I got a picture of my thumb, with the gauze on it and all the blood you can see, and I think that was actually my second or third gauze. So yeah, you'll see how much blood it is. It's pretty bad. And so they did that, and then the guy who I thought was just the worker was actually, you know, like a doctor, but I guess nurses can do that as well. I'm just not used to seeing like the people who do the check-ins also do like some sort of surgery, because that's literally what I had, was a type of surgery. You know, I had to get sutures. I had to get stitches in my thumb, like stitches, guys. I have not had stitches since I had my kidney taken out. Like, wow. Like, I'm not a person who gets like this kind of hurt. That's my brother's job. So this was definitely a new experience for me that I don't want to have again. But it was interesting. The worst part was actually when the guy came over, he started cleaning it again, and he got a big needle, like a thin needle. And I was like, oh, okay, needles are fine. But he was like, oh, this is going to really hurt. I said, well, what is it? And he's like, it's anesthesia. I said, oh, it should be fine. He was like, no, this really hurts. And I said, okay. So he sticks it in my finger. And I didn't want to look because, one, I didn't want to look at my skin coming off. Like, that just really freaked me out, like my skin being off. But I didn't want to look at it, and I'm glad I didn't, because that, like, I was tearing up. Like, it was so painful. The anesthesia shot for that was so painful. I thought the one for my, like, teeth were bad, but no, that was horrific. Like, I didn't move because I'm really good with shots, but, like that, having a shot in your thumb, no thank you. You know, I've had an IV in my neck before because they couldn't get blood anywhere else. I've had an IV in my neck before. I've had an IV in my wrist before. I've had an IV in my ankle before. All those places, like, I thought the wrist was the worst. Like, I started getting chills. I started shaking. No. I thought the neck was worse after that because I had the neck one after that. No. Not at all. No. Compared to this, no. Those things were nothing. Like, this was a intense, burning, like, just, like, I can't even explain it. It was just like it was like they're ripping off my skin again. Like, they were just ripping it off. They're ripping my thumb apart. But he gave me 4 shots in my thumb. And, luckily, I could feel it going numb. So by the time he was finishing, like, it wasn't that bad. Like, the last one wasn't as bad as the first, but it still hurt. So after they did the shot, like, I had to, well, actually, he started right away, and I was really surprised the anesthesia worked that fast. But I was happy because, like, literally, like, not even a minute after he did the shots, he was stitching up my finger, and they worked really fast, stitching it up and cleaning it afterwards. And I looked at it. I should have got a picture, but my phone was at my feet, because I asked the lady to put it on the charger because I was at 1% when I got there, and I didn't want if my parents called me as, you know, freaking out or something. Not freaking out. My parents don't really freak out, but if my parents wanted to call me or whatever, I didn't want my phone to be dead, and I wanted it to be available for one of them to pick up, or if my Korean teacher picked up, you know, or called, I would want them to be able to be answered. So they stitched me up. I was freaking out a bit because I'm like, oh my gosh, how much is this going to cost? Because this is an emergency room. So I don't know if you guys, well, the last time I was in the Korean emergency room was because I was having lots of breathing issues, and I was having major problems with my throat. I'm still having major problems with my throat, but it's not related to, like, mold. It is related to an actual throat issue that I've had. And yeah, but last time I was there, I spent $180. So 10만 원. And yeah, I was like, oh, I really don't want to spend that much money again. But that time I was in the hospital for a long time. They did tests. They did all these other things. And honestly, if you think about it, $180 is not bad for an emergency room. Considering in the States, I would be paying probably around $1,000 for how long I was there. So that's really nothing. So I go to the pay stand, and he says, 4만 원. So he said $40. So I was like, $40? $40? That's so great. Like, I was like, oh, I'm so happy. What was cool, actually, about that hospital, though, was the guy who was the checkout guy. I can't think of what they're called, if they have a special name, but he was the guy checking me out of the hospital, and I had to pay, you know. But he asked me, like, I had to sit down because I was waiting for my Korean, the community center people to get back to me, because I didn't know if they help with, like, just normal emergencies, but turns out they help if you don't have health insurance, or if it's something where you have to stay there for a long time, and it could be a huge amount of money. And I said, okay, that makes sense. That's good to know, though. But the guy who was at the checkout stand, he asked me where I was from, and I was like, you know, the U.S., and he was like, oh, cool. He was like, where? And I was like, Texas. He was like, what? I studied in Texas. I was like, where? He was like, A&M Commerce. And I was like, oh, where? And he was like, Commerce. I was like, yeah, but Commerce where? He was like, in Commerce. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, you mean AMC Commerce in Commerce, Texas? And he's like, yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was like, I'm so out of it right now, and there's tons of A&M, so I kept thinking it was somewhere else. And he was like, yeah, I know, there's a lot of them, and so, but yeah, he was speaking just fluent English, and it was wonderful, and I just had a conversation with him, and, you know, they were laughing because Lily was, you know, just having a blast, and the nurses loved her, and the security guy was playing with her. He actually went to go get her for me, which I was so grateful for, you know, because I couldn't really just watch her and try to take care of my stuff there. I didn't want them to think I was leaving. I don't need a security guy after me. But I was able to understand, like, everything at the hospital. I was really happy about that. I was able to understand the guy who stitched me up, which he did speak English at the end, telling me about home care. He said that I would need to re-wrap this daily, and that I have to clean it. I will have to ask again tomorrow, because I don't remember everything they said about this, but I know I have to clean it every day, and I have to redress it. And, yeah, what else? And I don't know. And then I was supposed to have pain pills, and I said I cannot go get my prescription stuff until tomorrow. And they said I have to come back tomorrow, because since they're in an emergency room, in the emergency room, they can only do 1 day prescription. And I'm like, okay, so tomorrow I have to go to the outpatient area and get more prescriptions for this and more stuff, I guess, whatever, for this, pain pills and stuff like that. Yeah, but this pain is coming back in, and it is not fun, but I got thumbs up. Life is good, guys. God is good. Hey, I'm blessed. It's not my right hand. It wasn't a day I'm doing a workout. Today's my rest day. I guess I really needed to rest. I'm just so happy that it wasn't worse than what it was. You know, I'm thankful. I'm grateful for, you know, what I do have. And I'm just so blessed with the people that I've come to know, and all the people that we've been coming across. You know, God has been so good and faithful. So anyways, guys, I'm out of here. This has been a really long video, but if you ever find yourself in a Korean emergency room, you know, don't freak out. Well, if you're a teacher and have insurance, don't freak out. Also, if you have a chance to take Korean lessons at a community center, and you maybe work in a factory and don't get insurance, please do the thing at the community center, just in case you do get injured, because they can help you, and you don't want to have to go through something to where you're begging your family across the waters to send you money. But anyways, guys, love ya, love, peace, and curry. Annyeong.